Hi everyone. Um, I apologize. I didn't stream yesterday, and the results came in a bit late this time. Being in South Africa, they are rolling in this new thing, and it's affecting our electricity supply. And you have to contact the supplier. The supplier is very incompetent. They're not doing their jobs. So yeah, it's a lot. But let me not irritate you with my issues. These are the prediction results for UFC 309. Um, the full card, basically recap. Um, I think I did pretty well as far as far as as far as predictions go, but I think I said it in the community section that once you get the taste of getting 100%, um, even if like you miss a couple, it feels like damn it, I missed by one, or I missed by two, or I missed by three. So yeah, I'm going to go through the entire card. It was it had decent fights. Michael Lorenzo, bro, you sleeping on Nicolas Morta? I'm not. I'm not sleeping on Morta, my dude. What did I say actually about that particular car? Didn't I say that fight is 100% risky? Yeah, my subscribers and I felt like my subscribers and I said that that fight was 100% risky. But I'll do the full card, the predictions and breakdown for that Macau card tomorrow. For now, actually, I just want to recap on UFC 309. And yeah, let me actually get to it. I did pretty decently, but I could have done better. Anyway, Veronica Hardy versus Eduardo Moura. My subscribers went with Veronica Hardy. I went with Eduardo Moura. Um, I mean, I did say that if I was right about Eduardo Moura, she would actually win convincingly, which I think she did. I think she was a little bit better everywhere, which is basically what I said. But I wasn't sure about her moving up. There were a variety of elements that were unknown. She didn't look elite. She didn't look like a future title contender. But I knew she could be significantly better than Hardy. Um, but Hardy looked decent as well. She just looked a little bit undersized. If anyone should be moving down, probably it's maybe Hardy. Um, Bro, hello from Armenia. How are you, man? Welcome to the stream. So, if anyone should be moving down, it should be Veronica Hardy. She looked very small. She seems very talented, but the issue is the size. Unfortunately, I feel like she was a little bit undersized. On the feet, I think she was a little bit better, and on the ground, obviously, Eduardo Moura was the better fighter. Which is something I saw. I actually felt like Eduardo Moura would maybe potentially dominate even as far as striking goes, but which I think she was. However, hello, I'm from my mother. Okay, congratulations to your mom. Um, so I think where are you live? I'm from South Africa. So I think um, Eduardo Moura should stay at that weight division. It doesn't make sense for her to try to go down. It's going to drain her cardio. It's going to drain her durability. Like there's so many things that are going to get affected. I wouldn't say that was the best performance, but she won, and I was right. So that's all I care about. On to the next one. Basil Hafez versus Oban Elliott. My subscribers and I went with Oban Elliott. Um, I did say I felt like I like your hair. Wow. Hello, brother. Peter Dahlgren. How are you, man? Um, anyway, Oban Elliott to me, I know a lot of people are high on Oban Elliott, but for me, that didn't look great. I think a part of me feels like Oban Elliott won because Basil Hafez was not doing much. I feel like if Basil Hafez was throwing a little bit more, and of course you can make the argument that well it was because of Oban Elliott, like he was throwing like he was making it difficult for Basil Hafez to throw. He was making him miss, so maybe bro, you look good. I appreciate that, man. Maybe you can make the argument that well, Oban Elliott was the one making Basil Hafez miss, and that's why he was fighting the way he was. That's why he didn't have so much volume. But for me, it felt uncomfortable. It felt like any minute now, Oban Elliott is going to be dropped. The rounds were a little bit close. Oban Elliott was obviously the busier fighter. However, I felt like Basil Hafez was lending a little bit more significantly. Um, Avaraj, how are you, man? Ronaldo or Messi? I don't watch soccer, my dude. Unfortunately, I don't watch soccer. So yeah, I don't know. I know a lot of people are high, and he got the finish, which was great. But up until the finish, I wasn't that impressed. Avaraj, bro, when did you started live? I think I joined late. No, I just started. I'm on Basil Hafez versus Oban Elliott. This is the second fight, so you're still early. Um, Please just say I don't know Ronaldo. Um, so so yeah, we got this one right, but I'm not sold on Oban Elliott yet. Um, I feel like he's vulnerable, so I worry a lot. Like even when I picked him, I could see that he was the better fighter, but for some reason, I felt like Basil Hafez was just one shot away from actually winning. Unfortunately, it happened, but on Basil in Basil's favor. No, I mean in Oban Elliott's favor. So my subscribers and I were correct on this one. On to the next one. Mickey Gall versus Ramiz Brahimaj. This is the first fight I got wrong. Mickey Gall. You know what? I think from now on, people should just follow every person. Should just pick anyone who says I trained with Bilal, because so far this whole year, if everyone that I've ever heard saying I trained with Bilal end up winning their fights. So I think from now on it should be something that we take into consideration. That, oh, did you train with Bilal? Okay, then I think I'm probably going to pick you. And I'm not even kidding. Like, go back and listen to every single person this year who said they trained with Bilal. They end up winning their fight. Even and a lot of them, surprisingly, which is crazy, a lot of the people who are saying I trained with Bilal come in as underdogs, and then somehow they end up winning. Which is crazy. In my head, when I saw that he was training with Bilal, I was like, nah, man, I don't think it's going to improve anything. And he got the finish. I mean, it's my fault for picking Mickey Gall. I just felt like they both have a ground game. Mickey Gall has been off for a bit of time. Um, Avaraji, bro, next UFC card is trash in the prelims, bro. All Asian dudes, never heard of them. It's so hard from a betting perspective. I agree. Even from a prediction perspective, it's gonna be very challenging. To analyze that whole fight was, rather that whole entire card was one of the most challenging things I've ever had to do since I started this channel, because there's so little information on the fighters. There's nothing tangible to go off of. So I'm not gonna lie. The the prelims, I'm just worried they might ruin my prediction accuracy, because my prediction accuracy is pretty high right now. So I'm just worried about this upcoming card. But it's fine. Cards like this are how I improve my prediction accuracy. So because of cards like this, I've improved my system of actually predicting regional fighters. which is going to still be difficult, but I think I'm going to be a little bit better at predicting regional fighters. Main roster, people who are ranked worldwide, they are very easy to predict. Not very easy, but my prediction accuracy is high because of worldwide fighters. But regional fighters, man, someone looks like it's like WMMA, like women's MMA. Like someone can look incredible in this fight and then look trash in the other. Um, bro, one doubt in the UFC, bro. One doubt in the UFC card. You picked the Kiru Shota. So can you tell me why you picked? Because I gonna bet on your picks. Um, I'll explain tomorrow. Um, even now, like I don't have. I need to do a little bit more research today, and then I'm going to go live and break down my predictions tomorrow. But I'm not gonna lie. Isn't Kiroshita like a regional fighter or something like that? Or that isn't he in a tournament of some sort? I'm not like the all the people who are like in the tournament who are ranked in the regional division or are in their region. I'm worried they are going to ruin my prediction accuracy. You know. But yeah. Anyway, back to Mickey Gall. I thought, well, he's the better striker. He has a ground game, which I felt like Ramiz would be really good at. So I felt like Mickey Gall would actually cancel that out. He had the reach. I felt like he was the better striker. Um, I was wrong. This was the first fight I got wrong. Um, so yeah. Um, bro, do you like coffee? Yeah, I do. Um, anyway, on to the next one. Masin Taibora versus Jonathan Diniz. So on this entire card, I got 9 fights correct and 3 fights wrong, which is like a 75% prediction accuracy. Last week I got 100%. The week before, I think it was somewhere around 80%, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember, but yeah, that's why I'm saying like I'm worried about this upcoming card. I feel like it's going to ruin my prediction accuracy, but hopefully not. My predictions have been really good, especially once I adjusted my prediction strategy. Anyway, Martin Taibura. So the second of this is the second of 3 fights that I got wrong on this card. Martin Taibura versus Jonathan Diniz. My subscribers and I went with Jonathan Diniz. In all honesty, I don't know if I'm remembering correctly, but I feel like I remember Jonathan Diniz using wrestling offensively. Right? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm thinking about something else, but I remember seeing Jonathan Diniz using wrestling offensively. So in my head, I was like, but I think I was thinking about someone else. But irrespective, I felt like Jonathan Diniz has been in the UFC for a couple of fights, so his takedown defense should have at the very least improved a little bit. Um, and clearly it was not. Like he was. I'm not a professional fighter, but there are certain things that I know I need to do to prevent being taken down. The first thing, when someone tries to take you down, you what do you call it? An underhook, basically, to prevent them from taking you down, and you widen your base. I'm not a fighter, but it's gonna be a little bit more challenging for an ordinary person or anyone who's trying to take me down. Jonathan Diniz seemingly does not know this information. He was allowing himself to be controlled. I was very disappointed. I mean, and even before, when Jonathan Diniz was supposed to fight Derek Lewis, I did say I was worried about the Derek Lewis maybe implementing the wrestling, but I felt like maybe Jonathan Diniz has improved a little bit, but it seems like even Derek Lewis would have been able to take him down. Jonathan Diniz looked like trash. Um, I don't know, even on the feed, man. At least, who's this guy? I forgot. I keep on forgetting his name, and it's at the top of my head. I forgot the Olympic champion. What do you call him? Taekwondo or something like that. Um, who just came into the UFC. At least if you are the better fighter at one point. I mean, Marcin Tybura was doing decently on the feet, which is disappointing for Denise because I mean, if you are the kickboxing prospect, at the very least, you need to show us, rock him, make sure that like we can see the difference. I mean, like even when he was down, I was like, I don't think even if he gets up, he's going to do a lot with the stand up. So, real sports beds. Welcome to the stream, man. Let me reply to a couple of you. Um, Easy money, real sports bet. Okay. What did he say? Alternative point spread is like shooting fish in a barrel. Anyone can make money on UFC now. Any loser gambler can now make money. Okay. Show me the circle, please. Show me the circle. Is this guy in the jungle right now? Um, I'm not gonna respond to that. I think stay long enough on the channel and you'll see that I'm not in the jungle. I mean, I think go to my other streams, you'll see where I am. Anyway, so yeah, Marcin Tybura actually won. Jonathan Denise is trash, clearly. Um, yeah, I guess it serves me right for thinking Jonathan Denise had any sort of ability to even look like he's preventing a takedown. He didn't even look like he was trying. But yeah, it is what it is. On to the next one. David Onama versus Roberto Romero. My subscribers and I went with David Onama. I was honestly concerned about this fight at the beginning because I honestly felt like this guy, David Onama, is going to run through this guy. And it turns out that's not what happened. This guy actually came in, and at one point, especially in the first round, it looked like he was going to finish David Onama, and I was like, what? But that's what I was saying about regional fighters, right? And I've been saying this for a while now. A lot of them, it's like, and I was saying this when I was breaking down the fight between Oban Elliott and Basil Hafez. And I was like, a lot of these new, the short notice debuting fighters will come into the UFC and look incredible in their debut, and then go on to look terrible. Um, as their career continues in the UFC. The only person who's seemed consistent in the UFC is, what do you call him? Diego Lopez. Felipe Dos Santos came in and gave Manuel Cup one of the most hardest matches of Manuel Cup's career. And then he started to decline. Basil Hafez did the same thing. Abbas Magomedov did the same thing. I'm a fan of Abbas Magomedov, but I mean, who else? Who else? Carlos Lille. I don't see Carlos Lille performing like that in his next fight or his next two fight in the UFC. I don't think he's that good. A lot of these debuting regional fighters always fight like that because they're not in the testing pool. So probably when they come in, they are, I don't know, on something. I don't know. I'm not accusing anyone of anything. It's just suspicious that a lot of them come in, have an incredible performance on short notice, and then their careers start to look like Basil Hafez's performances after fighting Jack Della Maddalena. It doesn't make sense that Basil Hafez performed like that against Jack Della Maddalena, and then Jack went on to climb the rankings in the welterweight division, while Basil Hafez is struggling with unranked fighters. It doesn't really make sense. So for me, it's a little bit suspicious. So let's see how this guy Roberto Romero performs in his next couple of fights. I'm not yet sold. Yeah, he threatened David Onama, but I think a lot of them, when they are debuting, they look like they can be world champions, and then they enter the testing pool, and the fighting ability changes a little bit. Heck, but didn't this guy used to throw a little bit more volume? Or didn't this guy have this crazy cardio? Or didn't this guy have power? Like you start to ask yourself questions, and it's not one; it's a couple of them. So yeah, he looked good. Kudos to him. He gave us an entertaining show. Shout out to David Onama for taking the fight. It's always risky to fight someone who's coming from the regional scene because, like I was saying, the testing the testing is not as strict as when you're fighting on a national level. So kudos to him. Um, he looked incredible and he actually won. I think David Onama was one of my locks. I think all my locks won except the extended ones because I remember I said my locks were John Jones, number one, number two, David Onama, number three, Bo Nico, and number four, Marcus McGee. And then I was like, if you're feeling extra confident, you can take Silva, Mauricio Rufi, and who else did I say? I can't remember. So I feel like my locks actually did pull through. But I'll get to the fights in the top. I did. A lot of people were saying, "Why am I saying Mauricio Rufi is risky?" Oh no, I actually said it when I was doing my final predictions. A lot of people were like, "Why are you saying Mauricio Rufi is a little bit risky or something like that?" And I was like, for me personally, I know a lot of people think James Lontop is trash. In that fight, I felt like it was going to be close, and it was. Rufi did very little in the first round. Then he did really well in the second round, and then James Lontop actually came back in the third round. So it played out how I saw it playing out. Um, so yeah, but I moved on to the next fight, way ahead of these fights. The next one, I got the David Onama. My subscribers and I went with David Onama, and we got him correct. Sean Shelby, me personally, I'm not done with Basil Hafez yet. I believe Oban Elliott is top tier guy. Yeah, I agree, my dude. I agree. I like the name. I know it's not Sean Shelby, um, but yeah, I like that you're presenting yourself as him. Anyway, Jim Miller versus Damon Jackson. My subscribers and I went with Jim Miller. Um, I did say in my final predictions, I did say that I felt like Jim Miller was the better fighter everywhere. My only concern was his age. So, and I did explain that I wouldn't just not pick him because he's old, especially when I know he's better, significantly better everywhere. It didn't make sense for me to say, but because he's 42, I'm not gonna pick him. I'm not. It doesn't make sense. I knew that he was better. I also said that I felt like he performed really well recently at UFC 300 and against Bobby Green. Bobby Green was ranked. He performed significantly well against a ranked contender. So I felt like Basil Hafez was not that good. Not Basil Hafez, but even Basil Hafez is not that good. But in this particular case, I'm talking about Damon Jackson. I felt like he wasn't that good, and I wouldn't just pick Damon Jackson because Jim Miller is old. Especially if Jim Miller had fought maybe last year or a year before, I would have maybe thought about picking Damon Jackson. But because he fought this year, it gave me an idea of okay, he still has fighting abilities, especially because he was able to take damage and went to a decision with a really decent striker in Bobby Green. So I felt like Jim Miller had the ability to actually get it done. Now I will say that I'm a little bit surprised that he got it done so quickly and so effortlessly. But yeah, um, My subscribers and I got this one correct. On to the next one: Jonathan Martinez versus Marcus McGee. My subscribers went with Jonathan Martinez. I went with Marcus McGee. Um, Marcus McGee was one of my locks. Not too great. It's not a great performance. But then again, I mean, a lot of people were picking Jonathan Martinez, so that just goes to show that they felt like he was good. And that third round showed that Jonathan Martinez is actually really good. So I guess that was a decent performance, but Marcus McGee should have looked a little bit better. Um, I don't know if maybe I'm being too harsh on him, because ultimately he was fighting a ranked contender. I think Martinez was ranked number 13, and I think Marcus McGee was not ranked in the top 15. So yeah, I guess that was a decent performance for Marcus McGee, considering he was fighting a ranked contender for the first time. So yeah, let me not be too hard on him. I think he can continue to improve and become um, a little bit better. Hopefully, he doesn't choke. So yeah, I got this one correct. My subscribers went the other way. I don't know why Jonathan Martinez did not throw a little bit more, but as I was saying at the beginning, I feel like maybe Marcus McGee was threatening him a little bit too much. I think actually he wasn't throwing too much because Marcus McGee was countering him. Every time Jonathan Martinez was throwing a leg kick or something like that, he was being countered by a punch or something like that. But obviously, because Marcus McGee was a little bit fresher, he was able to counter. But as time progressed, it was a little bit more challenging because he was tired. So the leg kicks were a little bit more effective in the later rounds. But still, my pick won. So yeah, on to the next one: Mauricio Rufy versus James Lontop. My subscribers and I went with Mauricio Rufy. I remember, you know, my predictions are good, right? But my breakdowns are really incredible because I did tell people that this fight is going to. Even though a lot of people don't give any credit or rather any thought to James Lontop, I did say that I felt like people were underestimating this guy a little bit too much, and I felt like they were overestimating Mauricio Rufy a little bit too much. I didn't say it exactly like that, but I did say that I felt like it was going to be a lot closer than a lot of people think it is. Ar, what's up, man? So a lot of people were feeling like, nah, Mauricio Rufy is going to knock him out, and it's gonna be easy. And I was like, nah, I don't think so, man. Not only, and it was not just about me feeling like James Lontop was a durable fighter. It was also because I felt like Mauricio Rufy was not as great as people say he was, and I felt like James Lontop had the power, the same power that Rufy had, and it showed because he almost hurt him. I think it was in the third round. He almost finished him. So, and I called this, my breakdowns are really really good, and I'm not just tooting my own horn. If you watch my predictions, you know what I'm talking about. Final predictions and upsets predictions, like the quality of that is incredible. If I was one of those channels, I would be charging for that. But I'm never ever ever going to do that to you guys. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. So you don't have to worry about that. Um Let me see. Nick Diaz, thank God he pulled out. I train in his gym. I watched one of his spars and he was getting slapped around by people who have been training for 16 months. Damn! Okay. I'll toot the horn, bro. Your videos are great. I appreciate that, my dude. I appreciate that. But the Nick Diaz, damn. Okay, that's bad then. It means he's going to get beaten up when he gets into the octagon with Vicente Luque. That doesn't sound good. Anyway, For those who missed it, R is saying Nick Diaz. Thank God he pulled out. I train in the same gym. What country are you from? I'm from South Africa. So R said Nick Diaz. Thank God he pulled out. I train in his gym. I watched one of his spars, and he was getting slapped around by people who have been training for 16 months. This is Nick Diaz apparently. So yeah, this is a lot. You from UK? No, South Africa. Um, why does Salikov have a higher chance of winning robbery over Canon Song? To be honest, my subscribers are the ones who vote who they feel like is going to win a robbery. I feel like maybe because Muslim Salihov is a veteran, maybe they feel like that's going to give him somewhat of an advantage as far as the judges go. I don't know, but because of the location, I'm a little bit skeptical of that. But normally, whenever someone has been fighting in the UFC for a long period of time, they know virtually everyone from camera persons to nutritionists, including the judges. So even if you're not friends, but they know you in passing, maybe they know you as a great person or whatever the case is, they create some type of a bond with you. So that's why people like Chris Weidman are more likely to get a robbery. There are certain people who are more likely to get a robbery. Obviously, it's not only that. Even stars, people who are popular, tend to get the robberies, obviously, because probably those people are their fans. South Africa is beautiful. I appreciate that, man. It's very beautiful. Just that it's being run by the wrong people. It's getting better now because of there's a coalited, I don't know if I'm saying that properly, um, government. So hopefully it becomes what it's supposed to be. Let's be honest with Connor and Diaz. Name. Let's be honest with Connor. The Diaz name wouldn't be much. They act like they are the goats of the sport. Hold up, Bilal. Bilal Muhammad is more accomplished than both of them together. Yeah, that's true. Chris Weidman and Anthony Pettis is interesting case. Both declined as soon as USADA came around. That's a good point. I didn't realize that. Let me finish up. Maybe we can have a conversation. So, like I said at the beginning of the stream, do South African people do the kiss thing in the DDP? No, dude. South Africa is a multicultural country. So that people that you'll find a group of people doing things that a lot of the other people around are like, damn, dude, what's that? So it's not a South African thing, it's a them thing. Um, Jason C, who is your log on the card? I will tell you tomorrow. At this point, I do not honestly know. I think, unfortunately, my lock is a female fighter, Wang Kong, or Kong Wang, something like that. I think that chick is going to definitely win, without a shadow of a doubt. But you know, Karini Silva. But I did say that that's why Karini Silva was not one of my locks, because I did say that I felt like Viviane Araujo had a little bit more experience. She would be a little bit better on the feed. If Karini Silva couldn't take her down, it would be a little bit tricky. But I was still confident that Karini Silva would win. But Viviane Araujo was doing the Michael Chandler a little bit, and um, grabbing the fence in order to change positions. I know people say no, she was still going to lose. I feel like she was grabbing the fence early in the fight, and I feel like that's when Karini Silva had enough energy to actually find a way to inflict some damage or actually even finish the fight. Um, but yeah, when it comes to women's MMA, man, like even when you're 100% confident, like I am right now, it's still risky to some extent. Zari, who wins, John Jones or Tom Aspinall? Kind of difficult to say. I have to do a little bit more research. I can't say from off of the top of my head, but People forget that Jones is a very intelligent fighter. So, and he's training with people like Gordon Ryan or whatever his name is, and Gable Stevenson. So even if Tom Aspinall has been doing jiu-jitsu from a young age, it don't mean anything if you're not training with the level of competition that John Jones is training with. And jiu-jitsu is not the same as wrestling. I favor jiu-jitsu over wrestling every single time. Like, because I favor wrestling over jiu-jitsu, I mean, because jiu-jitsu people, even Charles Oliveira was guilty of the same thing. They are okay with being taken down. They don't train to avoid being taken down. They train to get into positions whereby they can submit you off of their backs or at the very least inflict some type of damage. That's what the jiu-jitsu practitioners normally do. So if someone, and which would basically be Tom Aspinall. So on the ground, I'll say John Jones will probably have the advantage, which is most likely where John Jones is going to take the fight. John Jones knew he was not going to win a fight against Cyril Gahn on the feet, and that's why he did what he did. I anticipate that John Jones is going to take down Tom Aspinall, and that's where the fight will play out. I don't think Tom Aspinall is going to be good enough to defend the takedowns. I don't. Maybe I'm wrong, but I guess we'll see. I still have to do a little bit more research though. I know a lot of people are high on Tom Aspinall and all that, but like I say this in all my streams, I will lean towards a wrestler over a jiu-jitsu practitioner any day of the week because jiu-jitsu players like to be on their backs. And maybe Tom Aspinall has improved and added a little bit of wrestling to it, but I feel like he's been taken down a couple of times in the past, if I'm not mistaken. So I think John Jones can do it as well. Let me finish so that we can have a conversation. To everyone in the comment section, I'll reply. I'm almost done. Let me finish up the Viviane Araujo versus Karine Silva pick, or rather fight. So I honestly felt like Karine Silva would do significantly well, and she did, to be honest. And Viviane Araujo is a very tough veteran, but she looked surprisingly fast, durable, and a, l- a lot more skilled than Karine Silva. I just didn't like the fence grabs, which I felt like influenced the outcome of the fight because the fight was close with the fence grabs. I feel like she changed a couple of positions with the fence grabs. Um, and unfortunately, it led to Karine Silva losing. Right, um, it's hard to say congratulations when someone committed fouls. Speaking of fouls, okay, we haven't gotten to him. The foul king, Michael Chandler. We'll get to him. All my respect for Michael Chandler is out of the window. Um, I no longer respect Michael Chandler anymore. Anyway, Bo Nickel versus Paul Craig. My subscribers and I went with Bo Nickel. This was a sad performance, sad but decent. Um, I think Bo Nickel's this performance would have been great if Bo Nickel didn't talk so much, right? Imagine if Ilya Tuporia was talking all that trash. I was like, I'm going to knock out Alexander Volkanovski and then wins the decision against Alexander Volkanovski. And then say, I'm going to knock out Max Holloway and then wins the split decisions against Max Holloway. Imagine how that would be. That's Bo Nickel, right? He's out here telling us that he can beat Hamza Chimaev today. And there are people who, even the commentators, at the beginning, before Hamza Chimaev fought Robert Whittaker, they were like, "You never know, his grappling is incredible." Like I was like, "Why are these people called analysts?" Like my view on fights is a little significantly more accurate than theirs. And like, how do you think Hamza Chimaev will have even a remotely close fight with Bo Nickel if you know what you're looking at? So I think Bo Nickel is hurting himself by talking too much. Like he says, I can beat Hamza Chimaev now, I can beat Robert Whittaker now, and then he goes to a decision with Paul Craig and says, "Well, I have 6 fights. I'm still learning. I'm still developing. I'm still growing." Then say that from the beginning. I think he did himself a disservice by talking too much, by saying things he can't back up. Um, he is what Ilya Tuporia would have been if he wasn't able to back up everything he said. So if you want to know what Ilya Tuporia would have been, that's Bo Nico. Bo Nico has talked about things that he was going to do and has under delivered horribly. And then now he wants to claim, no, I'm still developing. Then stay away from elite level fighters and stop lying to us and telling us that you're going to beat them. So that's why they were chanting overrated. He caused this. No one would be saying overrated if he wasn't talking about people like Hamza Chimaev and Robert Whittaker and saying he would beat their asses right now. So yeah, if you're going to talk like Ilya Tuporia, at least deliver like Ilya Tuporia, or shut up and just try to improve. We will like you off of your wins and your success in the octagon. If you talk too much, you need to be able to back it up. Otherwise, you become a clown. Um, I'm sorry, I'm being too hard. Let me give him a compliment. I think Bo Nickel looked decent as far as striking goes, considering the fact that Paul Craig had the reach advantage. Um, Paul Craig had the experience. I actually did call it. I did say I thought Bo Nickel would get the knockout, but I did say that I feel like Bo Nickel is a smart fighter, so he wouldn't, even if he feels like he has an advantage on the ground, which I feel like Bo Nickel has as a wrestler. I don't think Paul Craig would have submitted him, but it doesn't make sense for you to risk it and go to the ground if you feel like if there's a possibility for you to win on the feet, which is what he did. I think he looked decent. He didn't look great. I think if he had that performance and he wasn't talking as much as he has been, I think it would have been a decent performance. Just that the problem is he's been over promising and under delivering. He was struggling and breathing heavy against Cody Brandage. He just went to a decision with Paul Craig, and you're telling us you're going to beat Hamza Chimaev. And people are not stupid. We're going to get tired, obviously, because of that. But yeah, he won. He was one of my locks. That's all I care about. Just in future, don't talk like Ilya Tuporia if you're not going to back it up. Simple. Anyway, on to the next one. Charles Oliveira versus Michael Chandler. My subscribers and I went with Charles Oliveira. Like I was saying, I lost all respect for Michael Chandler. Um, I used to say, you know what, irrespective of how certain things play out, um, Tweezy, that was crazy, man. Bo Nickel needs to shut up, and people will like him based off of him consistently winning, sometimes getting finishes. Like, I think if he shuts up and then performs how he has been performing, people would have been like, man, Bo Nickel is slowly becoming a really good contender. Let's see how he develops. That's what would have been said about him right now. Instead, he told us he would beat Hamza Chimaev. He's busy going to a decision with Paul Craig. Hamza Chimaev just finished a in his prime Robert Whittaker, because Robert Whittaker is not even close to 35, if I'm not mistaken. He finished a former champion who had only lost to other champions, if I'm not mistaken. He lost to Dricus Duplessis and Israel Adesanya, if I'm correct. Yeah, I think so. So the third person is Hamza Chimaev, who's probably a future champion. Not probably a future champion, definitely. So sometimes you need to know yourself. Like, if you know you work extremely hard, then you can talk crap. Like Conor McGregor knew he was working hard, but it was back then when Conor was Conor, not now when Conor is. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say things that will piss off YouTube, but nonetheless, he talks too much. I think he would have been a little bit more of a star if he shut up a little bit more and was a little bit more active, because he fights like he's Conor McGregor already. Like, I think he thinks that. He thinks he's this massive star and he's going to fight once a year or twice a year because everyone wants to see him. I think the UFC placing him on the main card of pay-per-views has gone to his head and he thinks he's a draw for some reason, and so he's like, nah, I'm going to rest and, trade. You're still early in your career. You need experience, dude. Like, fight as often as you can to get the experience and stop using your 6-0 record or whatever it is to tell us, well, no, that's why I performed like that. Then fight regularly, even if you fight bums. But if you fight bums like 4 times a year, that's 4 fights. At the very least, you're active. So he killed himself with the nonsense he was saying. Anyway, I'm about to finish. I'll respond to everyone, and then we can have a little bit of a conversation before I bounce. So Charles Oliveira, I don't think since I started watching MMA, I don't think there's ever been a person who I've seen commit as many fouls as Michael Chandler did in this fight. He was grabbing the gloves, he was eye poking, he was grabbing the fence, he was landing punches on the back of the head. I mean, what didn't he do? Oh, kick him in the nuts. I think that's the only thing that Michael Chandler forgot to do. And was it Keith Peterson or whatever the referee's name is? Like, the dude was like watching everything happen and was like, okay, this seems fine to me. It seems legal. I mean, I think back of the head shots are legal because he watched him land approximately 15 back of the head shots, and he wasn't looking to stop it for it being illegal. He was looking to stop it for a fight ending sequence or whatever the case is, TKO basically. And I was so infuriated watching that. I think the thing that calmed me down a little bit also is the fact that I already knew the results when I was watching the card, because normally I watch the card after everyone watched it, because in South Africa, pay-per-views or even fight cards, they start at like 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning, and I'm like, you know what, I'll watch it when I wake up. So that's normally why. Um, I have no respect for Chandler anymore, because that was. You cannot commit so many fouls and tell us that that was a mistake, right? That wasn't a mistake. Um, it was premeditated. I'm sure it's something they speak about in the gym, like, yeah, you cheat, and they will warn you. And once maybe you are close to getting too many warnings, maybe you can stop committing fouls. I think it's a plan. They probably have a strategy to say no. You commit this many fouls, and then maybe once you get a hard warning, then that's when you stop. I think that's what they do, because the dude was just doing, or maybe they told him, you know what, do whatever it takes to win. We need you to fight Conor McGregor. Like, how do you explain the referee blatantly watching illegal things happening? And it's like, oh, okay, go ahead, my dude, do your illegal things. I'm watching. At least if he looked away or he pretended to drop a coin, I mean, that would have been a little bit more understandable. We would have been like, but at least, not at least, but we would have been like, but Keith Peterson was looking for his coin. He lost it, so he didn't see it because he was looking for his coin. I mean, at least there would be some type of a defense for him in this situation, man. Like, it looks terrible. It looks like the UFC was like, no, this guy has to win. So even if he commits a couple of fouls, just let it slide. I'm not saying that's what happened, but it looks like it. because those things were horrible. But kudos to Charles Oliveira. I told everyone. I was like, who there have been Olympic. I made an example with Henry Cejudo. Henry Cejudo is an Olympic level wrestler, a former two division champion, and he couldn't come back successfully after 35, 37. I think. And I asked everyone, does anyone think Michael Chandler is going to be the one to come back successfully after crossing 37? After a long layoff, it's if you've been active, it's a different story. But there has never been any person, at least as far as my memory serves me correctly, there's never been anyone who's crossed 35, 36, and came back successfully. The people who come to mind right now, Jermaine Durandamine, who's the Misha Tate came back. She was over 35 if I'm not mistaken. She came back unsuccessfully. Henry Cejudo came back unsuccessfully after a long layoff. Michael Chandler, obviously, he joins the list. But in my head, I was like, there are champions who couldn't come back successfully. Michael Chandler has beaten Tony Ferguson and a different version of Dan Hooker, who was on the decline. Why do people think that that guy is going to then, after losing to Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje, the same people that Charles Oliveira finished? Um, why does anyone believe that that guy is going to come back successfully after 37 and somehow win? To me, it was like it didn't make sense. But obviously, because a lot of people were feeling like he was going to win, I was like, you know what? Maybe let me not say this is safe, because a lot of people were having doubts. I didn't feel like Michael Chandler was that great. Even if he fought more reserved, I didn't think he was going to win. And yeah, it played out how I told everyone. So that's one of the things I go back to my breakdowns. My breakdowns have high value. I don't want to lie. That's why I'm like, if I was, if I, sometimes I get a couple of trolls in the comment section telling me, yeah, you do this for what, you work for sports betting companies or whatever the case is. And I'm like, the kind of information and the breakdowns, specifically the breakdowns, my predictions are good and they're becoming significantly better right now. But my breakdowns are really, really quality. They're really, really good. So yeah, if I was anyone else, I'd be like, you know what, come to my Patreon, pay, and then you'll hear my breakdowns. They are very accurate. I'm not gonna do that, ever. So yeah, take that to everyone who thinks I work for sports betting companies. So yeah, Michael Chandler lost all my respect. Um, I wish he had gotten knocked out. That would have been great because he wouldn't have had that moment to call out Conor McGregor and somehow save a shred of a bit of dignity after he lost. And now that Conor McGregor fight might happen because of that post-fight microphone moment and the slams in the fifth round. But yeah, Michael Chandler is a trashy human being for doing what he did. That shows he came in with the intention of cheating. There's no excuse in that. It's kind of like saying someone kills one person. You're like, it's terrible, but maybe it was a mistake. But 20 people, like, how do you excuse that? Like, so how do you excuse that? The comment section. Once upon an elephant just came in. This guy is wild. Anyway, so Chandler did the too many messed up things for. He can't explain it away. He can't say, well. And I remember something similar happened when he was fighting Dustin Poirier, and people were speaking about it, and he was like, "No, I didn't blow my nose in his mouth. I didn't fight dirty. I wasn't." He was refusing, and he was acting like Dustin Poirier is overreacting. And I was like, "Yeah, maybe Dustin Poirier has a grudge against Michael Chandler." At that point, I'm trying to think of Michael Chandler as like a good dude. Now I realize that this guy is just putting on like a performance. Anyway, let me not speak about Michael Chandler too much. On to the next one, John Jones versus Stipe Miocic. My subscribers and I went with John Jones, obviously, but I did tell people that this fight is not going to be as easy as people think it's going to be. Once again, my predictions, my breakdowns specifically, are quality. Win or lose, I am somehow able to predict how a fight plays out. I said the same thing about Mauricio Rufy. It was a little bit closer than a lot of people anticipated. If James Lontop almost did something I actually said would potentially happen. And I did tell people were like, no, Stipe is going to be finished in the first round. And I was like, no, that's not going to happen, dude. If Glover Teixeira, and I remember making this example, I was like, if Glover Teixeira could become a champion at light heavyweight after 40 something years, 42 is not that old at heavyweight. Yeah, it doesn't mean he's going to be able to beat John Jones, but it also doesn't mean that he's washed up. I know a lot of people are using the fact that John Jones went to the third round with Stipe Miocic, but if you watched my breakdown, I actually did say that. I said this fight would end. I felt like John Jones would strike a little bit with Stipe Miocic. And I specifically said I don't think John Jones is going to finish him in the first round. I don't think it's going to happen in the second round. I said it's going to happen between the third and fourth round. It's on my channel. If you think I'm lying, you can go back and watch it. A lot of people are like, no, he's going to run through him. And just because John Jones went to what do you call it, the third round with Stipe Miocic, and a lot of people who these people watch did not foresee John Jones. What do you call it? Did not foresee John Jones going to the third round. They automatically think, well, it must mean John Jones is trash. No, Stipe was actually in shape. Stipe was still his age still allowed him to fight in the heavyweight division, and on top of that, he had a really long layoff, so he was able to take a lot of damage. So so yeah, I honestly saw that fight playing out how it played out. I also think a lot of people think Tom Aspinall is going to win. Off the top of my head, I don't agree. Maybe when I do my predictions, you'll see me picking Tom Aspinall because ultimately, this is my opinion. I created a prediction strategy to remove my opinion and focus on accuracy, which has been working significantly well for me. But personal opinion says John Jones is the better wrestler. Tom Aspinall might be good at jiu-jitsu, but jiu-jitsu practitioners are really trash when it comes to takedown defense. John Jones is training with Olympic level, not level, Olympic champions, Olympic wrestling champions. So that's the difference. I think John Jones is going to be able to take down Tom Aspinall. Now the problem is, will he be able to get up? I don't know, man. The way John Jones was controlling Stipe Miocic on the ground is it's hard for me to see anyone stand up, especially at heavyweight. Um, like I said, jiu-jitsu practitioners work to get the submission. They don't necessarily focus on trying to get up, right? And maybe Tom Aspinall is different. He's working on it, but John Jones has been doing this for a very long time. If you can out wrestle, not maybe out wrestle, but if you can hang with DC on the ground, it says a lot about his level of wrestling. And now he has Olympic champions working with him. So that fight is going to be interesting, but people might lose a lot of money in this particular fight thinking Tom Aspinall is going to dominate John Jones, especially because I heard, I think it was MMA Guru who was like, after that performance, Tom Aspinall is going to destroy him. Yeah, I almost made a reference to his predictions, but I also have I I'm confident my prediction accuracy is significantly higher than MMA Guru. We are not even on the same level as far as prediction accuracy. We're not playing in the same leagues. When it comes to prediction accuracy, we're not on the same level. But I do have moments like UFC Noche where I'm not, I'm not doing great. So I'm not going to take a shot at anyone. I'm just saying sometimes look at who's predicting fight. Look at someone's prediction accuracy before you take their advice. If someone is telling you Tom Espinal is going to win, ask yourself, how good is this guy at predicting fights? Should I be listening to this guy who's telling me Tom Espinal is going to win while his predictions are like prediction accuracy is like 50 something percent over predicting like 200 and something fights. Like that's not the guy to listen to. But sometimes people listen because it's popularity, because the guy has 200 and something thousand subscribers. So automatically you think, okay, maybe he must be right. But I will say this: as far as prediction accuracy goes, he's not on my level. When it comes to subscribers, I'm not on his level. He's way more popular than me. But when it comes to prediction accuracy, I would sun him. But anyway, I'm not saying Tom Aspinall is going to lose. I haven't done a proper research. I have to do my research as far as predictions go. Speaking of research, this upcoming card between the Davison Figueiredo versus Piotr Jan, I'm going to do the final predictions tomorrow. I'm terrified. I'm flipping terrified. Um, this card has so many regional fighters, and it terrifies the living crap out of me. But I'm working on a strategy to actually find a way to accurately predict regional fights because they keep happening, and even when I get them right, I don't feel like it's intentional. Like I've gotten, for example, last week I got 100%. I was happy because I got 100%, and it was intentional. It wasn't luck, right? And it wasn't luck because you can trace back my predictions. Sometimes I get one wrong, sometimes I get two wrong. For example, last week I got three wrong. So it clearly shows it's not luck. It's because I'm actually good at predicting fights. Before it was luck. So it feels the same way when it comes to some of the regional fights that I get right. Even though I don't feel like it's purely luck, but I don't feel like it's because I'm smart when it comes to regional fighters. So I'm trying to make sure that I have a good prediction strategy for regional fights. But this coming card like terrifies me. I'm also worried about it messing up my prediction accuracy. I've been saying this since I started the stream. Um, but yeah. Oh, there was someone behind me. So I've been saying this since I started my stream. So hopefully it goes really well. My predictions have been really good. So yeah, let me actually start responding to you guys, and then we will. So I can bounce after that. Where are the? Sometimes I should actually ask who is in the people who commented. Are they still in the stream? Because like sometimes you find that I'm responding to people who are not even here. Um, Let me see. Okay, Martin Osin. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name properly. Shout out, brother. I appreciate that, man. Sean Shelby, Wang Gang. Yeah, Wang Kong is probably going to be my lock. I never learned my lessons. Dudakova, Mora, and now Silva. They always disappoint me. But Silva, I can forgive it a little bit. She wasn't dominated per se. I felt like Araujo was busy grabbing the fence and it influenced how the fight played out. But still, she still lost. So it doesn't matter. Martin, don't remind us of that Karini nightmare. Yeah. it traumatizes me as well. Um, Zari, who wins? John Jones or Tom Aspinall? I think I answered that. I went into a spiral speaking about that fight. Tweezy Rich, I'm so pissed. I almost took Araujo. Then I see these clips of Araujo getting rocked recently, and her age. Yeah, her age was one of the things. But in all honesty, a part of me felt like it would be close, but I allowed my fandom of her to seep in, even though I did say that, and that's why she wasn't one of my locks because once again I said my locks were John Jones, David Onama, Bo Nickel, and Marcus McGee. And then I said that if you're feeling extra confident, that's when you can add Mauricio Rufy and Silva, especially because I said Mauricio Rufy, for me, I'm not as confident as a lot of people. So, but the main locks were John Jones, Bo Nickel, David Onama, and Marcus McGee, who all won. So yeah, a part of me saw it, but I was like, nah, man. Araujo is like 39. She's not going to do anything. And these times, I need to slap myself and be like, hey, dude, we don't want what you think. We want what you researched. So next time I'll do that. I did that, but I feel like I didn't criticize the fight a little bit more than I should have. Yeah, so I'll do that a little bit more next time. Um, our Prime DC versus Prime Yoel Romero. That makes me rock. Wow. R is wild. That's why he doesn't have a name. It's only an alphabet. Zari, remember I told you Izzy will get rocked by the South African guy? Yeah, but I picked Dricus Duplessis to beat Israel Adesanya. Um, the predictions are on the channel. Sean Shelby, do you think Richie has a chance? I think so. I think so. The problem is, I feel like Richie is improving, and people don't see it. That's the scary part about Tabata Ricci is that she's improving, but she's improving in such a way that people are not necessarily noticing it. So it's flying under the radar, and by the time people realize it, she will have cost a lot of people a lot of money. Um, with that being said, Yan Xiaonan was threatening Zhang Wei Li. She took her to a decision. It's not MMA math. I did my research. This is me just giving extra justification for the pick. It's not gonna be an easy win for her, probably, but I'll break down the fight tomorrow because right now I'm speaking off of information that I probably also forgot. I need to do a little bit more extra research in order for me to be able to give you a little bit more accurate breakdowns. So the fights for this upcoming card, I'll do like a proper breakdown and then I'll give you like an informed opinion on those particular fights. But yeah, I feel like Tabata Reach is improving, not significantly, but she is improving. I can see it. And also she has some type of a chip on her shoulder or that thing, yeah, okay, my boyfriend is doing well, so I need to also do well. I think she has that. Like she has that the pressure to excel. So I think that's what making her improve, and people don't see that. So she could shock a lot of people, but I'll be able to tell you if this is accurate or not tomorrow when I do the predictions. We have an electricity issue here. I'm so bored. They are changing the systems in South Africa, so but let me not go into it. Like I'm so annoyed. So I'm just thinking about the predictions for tomorrow. Hopefully nothing gets disturbed. So yeah, that's my opinion on the fight. Be honest, the Dagestani fighters are ruining the sport. Their Muslim following is what keeps them in the mainstream. Everyone forgets when Habib made the homeless men do push-ups for money. I don't think so, man. I honestly don't think. To be honest, for me personally, I enjoy a lot of the Dagestani fighters' fighting abilities. There's this misconception that they are only grapplers, where when Habib is probably the only primary grappler out of all of them. Magomed Ankalaev is a striker primarily. He can also grapple. Islam Makhachev is probably one of the top 10, probably maybe potentially even top 5 best strikers in the UFC. Whether you believe it or not, it's up to you. He knocked out Alexander Volkanovski. He was out out he was better in the striking match against Dustin Poirier, who is probably one of the best boxers in the UFC. So I think he's made his point as far as striking goes. You can disagree with that, it's fine. But I think Islam Makhachev is one of the most talented strikers in the UFC. Umar Nurmagomedov, incredible striker. We saw that against Cory Sanhagen. He didn't have to wrestle. He tried, he couldn't, but he still won because of striking. Hamza Chimaev, look at him versus Gilbert Burns. An incredible striking match. He still won. The fight went to the ground once. The guy, Hamza Chimaev, dropped him in the first round, knocked out Gerald Mearshart. So I feel like there's a misconception about the Dagestani fighters being only wrestlers. Merab is not from Dagestan, so but because he looks like them, people generally like to lump them together. So I disagree. I enjoy the Dagestani fighters' fighting abilities. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Zari Jones' fighting IQ is incredible. Also, the bottom comes in like a wrecking ball, and if he catches you, it's finished. Yeah, that's why I'm saying Tom Aspin. It's not like I'm saying Tom Aspinall is going to definitely lose. I'm just saying John Jones has an incredible fight IQ, and it's not gonna be as easy as people think that it's going to be. It's like what they thought about Stipe Miocic, and I was like, Stipe is not going to get finished in the first or second round, and people were thinking I was crazy for saying that. Um, oh no, my niece is leaving, and I haven't seen her. Okay, let me just reply to you guys. I'll see her tomorrow. Um, or when he tried to jump Artem Lebov, a big man jumping him with 20 guys. So you feel like Artem Lebov would have beaten Habib one on one. I get what you're trying to say, but it's like Polo Costa saying, "Yeah, Hamza Chimaev waited for his team before he started saying, 'Let's fight.'" Does anyone believe that Polo Costa would beat Hamza Chimaev in a one-on-one fight, especially a street fight where anything is allowed? He's not going to beat Hamza Chimaev. Artem Lovbov was never going to beat Habib in a one-on-one fight. He didn't need 20 people. Unfortunately for Artem Lovbov, when when you have close friends who deeply care about you and are not just around you for money, when someone messes with you, they take it personally as well. So that's unfortunately how it is when you have people who care about you sincerely. If they see you get hurt, they feel like they were also attacked, and they will do everything they can to protect you. That's how I view that. Um, Tom is too quick for a heavyweight. He might be too quick, but you can be taken down. It doesn't matter how fast you are. That speed will get slowed down when you are on the ground and defending takedowns for 2 rounds. You are going to slow down significantly while taking elbows to the top of your head. It's not going to look good. Um, Alex Marogoloy, give us your picks for UFC China. Peter Yan versus Davidson Figueiredo. I'm assuming you're new to the channel. I do predictions on Wednesday around this time, and the upsets predictions, they are both equally important. You can ask anyone in the comment section. So I do them on Wednesday around this time and on Friday, upsets predictions around this time. Zari, are you entertained or not? I am. The BMF belt is cursed for real. Yeah, that's actually true, man. That's really, really true. Because when you think about it, these dudes end up getting knocked out. Am I not mistaken? Am I wrong? Yeah, every BMF champion has went on to get knocked out in their fight preceding that, if I'm not mistaken. Jorge Masvidal got knocked out by Kamaru Usman. I think after he won the BMF belt, right? His previous fight was he beat Nate Diaz, and then went on to fight Kamaru Usman. Did he get knocked out after beating Nate Diaz? I think so, probably. And then Justin Gaethje knocked out Dustin Poirier, and then went on to get knocked out by Max Holloway. Max Holloway knocked out Justin Gaethje and went on to get knocked out by Ilia Poirier. So there is some validity to that. Probably it is cursed. So when you have it, you have to be worried. There is a knockout coming my way. Sean Shelby. I know Chandler cheated lots, but there was very wholesome moment when Chandler slammed Oliveira the second time. Oliveira could have adjusted his hands to submit Chandler, but he let Chandler slam him. Yeah, but you know what I have a problem with. We let small things slide. Not small things. We let it's like people who were supporting Colby Covington getting a title shot over Bilal Muhammad, and now Tom Aspinall almost did not fight John Jones because of the same precedent that a lot of these people have said. When you encourage one bad thing, it's going to affect fighters you love at some point. You're going to be like, oh my God, why? You forgot that you were encouraging the same thing just because you hated someone who was getting like the same thing that's happening to Magomed Ankalaev. There are people who are encouraging it, and then when it happens to their favorite fighter, they expect everyone to support them in their outrage. Like, yeah, we should all be outraged. Why, dude? Like you were doing it to another person just because now you don't like the person who it is being done to. You're like, no, we have to be outraged. Why? Selective outrage. Be outraged on your own. Like for me personally, I feel like it's a slippery slope. When we let this happen, it opens a door to another thing, and then by then there have been so many things that have happened that the community has accepted that it's like, but why are you guys upset? We did this, and you're okay with it. So why when we do this now, you're like, no, this is wrong. You have to be consistent. So yeah, I honestly don't condone fouls because they lead to something else. Shelby, just to entertain the crowd. Nah, he committed too many fouls for me to overlook. Sean Shelby, this moment touched me a bit. It could have been great if he wasn't committing so many fouls. But then again, he probably would have been finished if he didn't cheat the way he did. So probably that moment would have never happened if he fought clean. He's still in the fights, bro. That's how it goes. But also, you're right. That there's a thin line before being considered a flop. That's the thing, though, bro. You can sell a fight differently. So, for example, Kobe Covington, I hate. I don't. I almost said maybe I hate him, but I think hate is a strong word. I don't like Kobe Covington. I think he's an ass. You can say it's an act, but I don't give a crap if he's acting or not. I don't like the guy. But Kobe Covington does not go in there and say, I'm going to finish you in the first round. Be creative. If you're going to try and sell the fight, find a way to sell it creatively. Right? You don't have to say, I'm going to finish you. Right? Do something. But whenever you create the bold statement, and it's different when you say you're going to finish your opponent. It's more forgivable to to say, I'm going to finish my opponent. I mean, we expect everyone to be confident. That's why Israel Adesanya, even though people hate him, it's not as bad, even if he was getting decisions, because you can't blame the guy for being confident that he's going to finish his opponent. The problem comes when he is belittling or somewhat underestimating people who are ranked significantly higher than him, saying, I'm going to dominate this guy. I would be a massive favorite in that fight. And then you go to a decision with Paul Craig. You struggle to submit Cody Brandage in the first round. I really, so it's really underwhelming for him to tell us all these things, that he would dominate Hamza. He was saying all this crap, and I think people are irritated by the fact that he made Hamza Chimaev his target, and he was talking all this nonsense, and then he goes to a decision with Paul Craig. That's why they were chanting overrated, because he thinks he is what he's not. Like, he's not what he thinks he is, and unfortunately he found out at UFC 309 at Madison Square Garden. He's not what he thinks he is. He needs to just keep quiet. You can talk when the time is right. Like, if you are ranked in the top 10, then you can start speaking about Hamza Chimaev, because then you're like, I've beaten this guy number 15, I've beaten number 13, I've beaten number. We're like, okay, I mean, he deserves it. It's a step up. I mean, but probably by the time Hamza will be a champion. But at least it's acceptable when you're in the top 10, because I mean, you are close, you are almost there. You need maybe two wins or three wins in order to maybe challenge for the belt. At that point, it's understandable why you're calling for the champion, right? But when you're saying things like, I would run through Robert Whittaker and Hamza Chimaev, and then you go to a decision with Paul Craig, I mean, it makes us feel like, okay, why are you saying all of that then? Just focus on the people you're fighting. That's why I was saying at the beginning of the stream, he can fight cans if he wants to. It's fine. He's still building experience. Just stop talking about people who would beat the living crap out of you and lying to us that you would destroy them right now when you can't even destroy Paul Craig. Tweezy Rich, Bo said he would be a minus 1,000 over Chimaev. That's what I'm talking about. Like, it's insane. Like, it's insane what he's saying, and he can't back it up. That's why I compared him to Ilia Tuporia. He's Ilia Tuporia without the abilities of Ilia Tuporia, basically. That's crazy. Our thoughts on Michael Chandler's kids without being rude. It's weird, mate. I don't know, man. I feel like I don't agree with him saying he's not going to raise them black, because unfortunately, whether we like it or not, even on my channel, I've experienced racism. It is there, it exists. I think I've experienced it so much that it doesn't affect me as much. If you've been on my stream, like, there've been a lot of people who've said a lot of messed up things, and I just laugh at it. It depends in the context also. Sometimes you don't have to be too offended about everything. Then, like, you give people too much power to reign over your life. But there are certain things that you have to teach your child. Um, let's say, for example, you are Asian, and then there are certain things that affect Asians, or there are ways that people treat Asians outside their community or outside their homes. Those are things that you need to teach your Asian child about. So similarly with black people, there are certain experiences that you'll never have unless you're black. And if you're not teaching your child to anticipate these things, it can be a massive shock. And if someone is not prepared to deal with a couple of difficult situations in public, you end up having situations where you hear someone was being racist and he was shot, or someone was killed because of an altercation that started with racism, or whatever the case is. You have to prepare people mentally, which is the same thing as infidelity. I view it, that's the best way I can explain it to everyone. Being black not teaching your child, or rather about black experiences, is like not preparing your mind to find your spouse in bed with someone else, right? It's a difficult thing to prepare internally or mentally, but you are probably going to act stupid if one day you come home and then you find your partner in bed with someone else. You're going to act stupid, right? So those type of things help, um, if you prepare them, or you prepare yourself before you even get into those situations. That's the best way I can explain growing up as a black person, right? So there are certain things that I feel like he should be teaching his child. I don't have a problem with him adopting black kids. I feel like it's fine, um, as long as there's nothing weird happening, like what Madonna is doing to her kids. Um, but yeah, I don't really see any problem, with him having black kids. I mean, I think that's okay. Maybe he likes black people, and because he's not black, he feels like maybe I can raise black people, and that in a way can be like a cool thing for me. So I don't have a problem with it. Chandler has a lower social status than my toilet after eating a curry. Rumor has it Keith Peterson smelled of alcohol and cigarettes. Yeah, that explains why he was watching so many fouls and did nothing about it. That's messed up, man. Tweezy Rich, Chandler was hopeless in there. Couldn't even have success on the ground. I've seen clips of Chandler and Usman wrestling, and they go back and forth. Yeah, I saw those clips. That's training. That's sparring. They're not trying to murder each other. They're just training. They're just, and it was like a flow, right? I mean, it's not like Charles Oliveira is going to let you do that. Like he will strangle you. So you can't just be uh, walking around a person like an ape or something like that. They will strangle you. So it's different when you're just playing and you know there's no threat than when someone is literally trying to put your lights out. Like it's different. And plus, Charles Oliveira is an incredible submission artist, and it seems like he's improved his wrestling. I think that's one thing that I saw against Michael Chandler. I think, and that's why I said when I was predicting this fight, I said I'm not even doing MMA math. I did specifically, I did say that Charles Oliveira prepared for the number one pound for pound fighter twice. That definitely improved his fighting abilities on the ground and on the feet. He will most probably be a little bit better at striking and wrestling because he was preparing for Islam Makhachev. Michael Chandler was losing to Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje. I didn't feel like he's going to be better at all. So yeah. Um, Tweezy Rich Peterson was looking for his cigarettes. Well, maybe he saw them in the commentary booth, you know? Like maybe we thought he was looking at the fight, and he probably was not looking at the fight. He was like looking past the fight. He saw his cigarettes and his alcohol, and it was like I knew it was DC. It was like I knew it was DC who stole my cigarettes. Probably it's possible. And that would explain why he didn't react to fouls. Once upon an oil fest, we all really picked Mickey Gall. Yeah, yeah, he shamed us and we deserved it, man. I mean, Tweezy apparently, Tweezy did really, really well, better than us. Congrats to you, my dude. So yeah, the rest of us we picked Mickey Gall. It was very shameful, and he shamed us. He showed us like you need to do better, and he was right. We need to do better. Um, yeah, that sucks. Tweezy Rich, who is we blood? Oh, bro, you should do streams just talking to the chat. It's funny. I appreciate that, man. I enjoy. I also enjoy this part. I think maybe I'll do that. But I also normally prefer to have some type of a topic. Um, I'll do that a little bit more often once the channel like gets monetized because I think I get strained by my full time job. Um, so it gets a little bit difficult. Like the community section, I have to post so many things. Like if you go there right now, there are going to be posts every 13 minutes up until 12 o'clock. I don't know the time zone where you are, but for the next couple of hours, there are going to be fights in the like fighting polls that are coming out in the community section. The short section every day there's a video that comes out. The video section every day there's a video that comes out. I do streams 3 times a week, and the preparation behind that is also another thing. So I think I get I want to do more streams. I just feel I just get tired because I do everything on the channel alone. But I think that's why I respond to chats. I enjoy it as well. It's really fun. And we speak about different things like because people ask random questions and sometimes they're not even talking to me, they're talking to each other. So that's also funny to see, you know. I enjoy responding to comments, and that's why I do it all the time, unless my battery somehow embarrasses me. But as long as it's fine, I always respond to comments. It's an incredible part of doing these streams. Otherwise, I would be, and there was a point where I was considering just doing predictions like everyone does them, like recording myself, pre-recorded, edit, and then post it in the video section. But I decided not to because I would miss this like talking to you guys, responding to. That's the only thing that made me decide not to do it because talking to you guys it's different. I don't know how to explain it. Even if there's like 10 of you or 9 of you online, or even if there's 5 of you, sometimes it even gets to like 50, 90. It doesn't really matter as long as there's someone I'm communicating with. It's cool to know that there are like 5 or 10 people. Someone is from America, this one is from the UK. Like people are from different parts of the world, and like we're having a conversation about one thing, which is one of the biggest reasons why I created this channel, was because in South Africa MMA is not that big, so I wanted to find people to talk to about the sport because I'm so passionate about it, and I found you guys, so that's why I love doing these streams. I enjoy this part of talking. So yeah, I always respond, my dude. I appreciate that though. Like it's a really interesting comment. No one has ever actually commented on the me responding to the chats. So I thought maybe I was the only one who was enjoying it. So it's interesting to hear you say that. Once upon an oil fest at Tweezy, most people in the comments, me and the channel owner. Yeah, it's as Tweezy. Just because right now you were able to see Mickey Gall for what he was, do not shame us. We are shaming ourselves, and Mickey Gall shamed us enough. Tweezy, why are you crying? Once upon an oil fest, Mickey Gall is poop. I can't say pink poop, apparently. according to once, according to Once Upon an Oil Fest. Twizy Rich, true, but Ramiz was training with Bilal and Bahamonde, so I thought he could come out better. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, damn, it's because everyone who has been saying I trained with Bilal has been winning their fights. So it seems like if you want to win your fights, go train with Bilal. I think you're going to have a lot of success. Um, Once upon an office, I think Tom Espinal would finish Jones. I disagree. Okay, I haven't done enough research to have a solid opinion on that particular topic, but off of the top of my head, John Jones is the better wrestler. Um, I don't know, man. I don't feel like it's going to be as easy as people think it is. Okay, Tweezy Rich. I agree with you. I want to see Jones fight Tom, so he shuts up. So he shuts up already. Once upon an all first, Jones looked so slow against Stipe. I don't think he's the same dude. Yeah, but remember, I also did say, you remember I said that John Jones looked horrible against Cyril Gahn on the feet, right? You remember I said that. Um, I said that John Jones looked horrible against Cyril Gahn. Um, but that didn't matter because he made sure the fight goes to the ground immediately. In this fight, I think John Jones wanted to test himself. I don't feel like, and I think he knew that Stipe wouldn't be easy to take down. So he made sure that he improved his striking a little bit in order to actually, I don't know, find a way to win on the feet because he knew he could. If That's why I say John Jones is one of the most intelligent fighters in the UFC. If John Jones knows he's not going to win in a certain place, it's like saying Francis Ngannou would knock out John Jones. Yeah, probably. Even John Jones himself said that. But if you think John Jones is going to go in there and think, I'm going to strike with Francis Ngannou, then you don't know John Jones. He's not going to strike with Tom Aspinall. I can guarantee you that. He's not. Like, he's going to have a grapple heavy fight, but again, fight camp. He's not. That fight won't stay on the feet for more than 1 minute. Probably maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes is going to be the maximum. Let me say more than 2 minutes. He's going to shoot early and fast. Trust me. That fight is not going to be on the feet. And John Jones, like I said, John Jones is very smart. So he knows he's also old. So you can't try to compete with speed against a young fighter. Like, that doesn't make sense. So he's going to be smart enough to know, you know what? I'm slower. I'm older. The best way to win is to take the fight to the ground. And I think he's still going to fight um, Pereira, Alex Pereira. I think after beating Tom Aspinall, which I think he might, if he does what I think he's going to do, I think he might beat Tom Aspinall, and he's going to retire with Alex Pereira. I think. Um, Cheesy Rich. Tom only has BJJ. Yet his sub wins aren't that impressive. Only Volkov, but Jones has way better BJJ. I agree, and wrestling, and wrestling. It's not BJJ only. That's why I say I don't like BJJ guys because they are usually okay being on their back, and that's not a good thing if you're fighting a wrestler. Cheesy Rich. Um, the only time it's risky is on the feet, but Jones has a high striking defense. That's what I said going into the fight. I did say that I feel like he's going to be significantly better. I think if Jones survives, once upon an oil fest, I think if Jones survives the first 2 rounds, he will guess out Tom and get the late finish. I think he'll survive the first 2 rounds by wrestling, and it's not even going to be a mystery. I think that's what he's going to do. Birdie Boy, what a name. Zhang Miang versus and Xiao Kang Feng. I don't know how to pronounce these names. I apologize. I'm not being racist. Tuesday Rich. Yeah, you can't count on Tom to have a gas tank to KO Jones. You might have one of the best chins we've seen. He has been a round one or bust guy besides Arlovsky. Yeah, Tuesday Rich, Zhang KO baby. Possibly, but I'm worried about Ozzy Diaz. Once upon an oil fest, yeah, Zhang KO or sub in the first round easy. R, here, bro. Tuesday Rich. After I saw Jasmine get a sub over Lipsky while Silva couldn't made me sus, but I still picked her. But at least I never bet her. Yeah, good move, man. Tuesday Rich. Richie has a chance. Yeah, has really bad takedown defense. Yeah, I saw that. Plus, Jan also has good striking. It's not like she's only good on the ground. Tuesday Ridge, Richie's got bad stand up, so I guess it's just pick your poison. Yeah, I agree. Once upon an oil fest. I think Jan Zanan is a highly confident pick of mine.
but still risky to bet on. Richie, I thought could have lost her last fight. 51% risky level, in my opinion. Yeah, fair. Once upon an oil fest, I'm never bet women's MMA. Yeah, that's a smart take. Are Chandler the type of guy to ask his wife's boyfriend to get a gold tooth like you to land the corner? Wow, I don't know what to say. But Hamzat is from Chechnya, not Dagestan. I get you. I think maybe I trust them. I'm just saying that I just feel like they get a bad rap because of Habib, and Habib was mainly a wrestler. But majority of them are strikers. Isn't Zabid from Dagestan too? Atem Tizirich, Atem Labov. Tizirich, we should get Chandler the BMF belt so he can get. You know what? You know what? He doesn't have to fight Max. I think they should just give him a shot at the BMF belt, and then let the chips fall where they may. I think that's a good idea, Tuesday Rich. Let's campaign for Chandler to get a BMF belt. Are Kobe the type of person to publicly hate black people but have a black girlfriend in private? Yeah, I think that's what he's basically trying to say to gain the white majority basically in the United States. He's stupid, but it worked for him, right? It worked for him. His stupidity worked for him because he got where he is because of sucking up to everyone who's in power and saying things to please or make other people laugh at the expense of others. He did that with the Poliana Viana. He hid after he said he hates Brazilians. Yeah, it doesn't have a backbone, so like I understand. Abdul Rahman, yo, what's your opinion in Skibidi toilet? I don't know what that is, man. Chris Stalkab, Bo Nichols should have finished him, but that fight was so boring. And Hamza cannibalizes Bo if they ever fight. Yeah, I think that's why people don't like him that much. Um, I remember someone called you a monkey because you didn't get the good pics of Manga. Yeah, man. Like I get those, it gets bad. Some happen even in the stream, not just in the comment section. But if you take everything too personally, you won't be happy. Like how like there's so many terrible people in the world. So if you take everything too personally, I mean everyone has the ability to ruin your day, and I'm not going to give people that ability. I'll care about those that I feel like okay, this one I need to address or I need to handle, but not all of them. Like some things are not worth it. So yeah, that was wild for him to call me that just because on one card, dude. And I don't think I did that badly. I was I was like at like 50 something or just barely above 60%. I can't remember. Cheesy Rich, yeah, I wasn't surprised Oliveira outgrappled Chandler at all. But if I saw him having any success anywhere, he might be able to stay on top of for a bit, but not even that. Yeah, yeah. Jabaz, Hussein, hi man, what's up? I'm good, my dude. I'm Chris Stalkup. Who do you got in the Figgy versus Jan fight? I went with Jan. Go to the short section for those that are new to the channel. Go to the short section and video section. There's my picks are there. Tweezy Rich, honestly, I think Jones is more likely to lose to Ngannou than Aspinall. Yeah, I agree because I feel like Ngannou, the fact that Ngannou performed and his takedown defense looked like solid against Stipe Miocic. And let's not forget that Francis Ngannou performed better against a younger Stipe Miocic than what do you call him? John Jones did. Um, my phone is ringing. Um, okay, I'll talk to them. Let me finish up. True, John Jones is intelligent fighter, hence why he does the eye poke distance managing move. That's crazy. That's crazy. Funny guy, Tom beats Jones. I guess we'll see, man. A lot of people feel that way. I don't know at this point. I'm not going to disagree or agree with that. Rich Ngannou is better than Tom in many. Um, Ngannou is better than Tom in my eyes. BJJ isn't gonna do anything to Jones. I agree. Funny guy. What's up, man? Welcome to the stream. Um, you finally made it. The funny guy. Oh, Ngannou decent, but I don't know if he beats Tom. Ngannou would. Let me not say destroy, but Ngannou is a very good fighter, man. Cheesy Rich. I mean, we've seen how he smoked the Stipe on the ground, and the second time around, I feel that his old coach really held him back. It's the same gym Gun trains at. They have zero ground game. But the second time around, Ngannou did really well as far as takedown defense. Tweezy Rich, I feel since he went to his new coach, he became so much better. I agree. Tweezy Rich, he entered MMA late in his life, so it was still possible to evolve. Tweezy Rich, not saying Ngannou's a lock, but he has a better shot than Aspinall for sure. Much stronger on the ground. I agree. Funny guy. He may have but fought Ferreira last in. I never ever considered Ferreira a strong fighter. I just think Tom is too explosive for Ngannou and will catch him and will kill him quickly, in my opinion. Damn, that's brutal. Funny guy against John. I think Tom wins for sure. Ngannou is risky versus John. Okay. Once upon an office, goofy as ringtone. Dude, I don't care about this phone. I need to get a new one. Don't diss my ringtone, dude. Like, what should I have done? Put on the song. Wow. I'm leaving you guys. Like, now you're talking about my ringtone. Funny guy, word. Wow. Cheesy Rich, I honestly not even considering his recent fights as much. Garner and Stipe are both Jones' best wins at heavyweight. It was the same for Ngannou, so it's weird to count him out in my eyes. And Ngannou is also out grappled both. Funny guy, Ngannou went 5 rounds with Gun. That was a snooze fest. I think Ngannou is too slow for Tom here, in my opinion, and John would beat Ngannou probably. Do not forget that Ngannou had an injury. Guys, we are approaching 2 hours. I have to bounce. Um, I love and appreciate all of you. Hopefully, see you tomorrow when I do my final predictions for the upcoming fight card. Yeah, see you tomorrow. See, or in the comment section, either way. I haven't responded to comments. I've been trying, but I'm sure there's a list. I think the electricity thing is just making things difficult for me to actually respond properly. But I'll make a plan. I'll make sure that I respond to everyone like I always do. But definitely, I think I'm going to see you guys tomorrow when I do my final predictions. I have to. So yeah, deuces. The trolls will owe you up if you don't get 100. On this card, man, it's gonna be rough. Like it's gonna be bad. Okay, not bad. I said that about that card where I got 100%. I was like, no, this is gonna be a risky card, and then I got 100%, and people were upset with me. Like, dude, why did you say it was risky? I'm like, but most of the time I'm right. I didn't know they were not as risky. Those people did not even help me. They were busy getting finishes in the first round. I was like, these people will act like now I was giving you my honest opinion. Like, hopefully this card is the same way. I'm like, oh, I'm scared, and then I get 100%. Merchant Taibura, funny guy. Tabi Taibura. I'm not gonna leave if I keep on reading your comments. The legend himself birthed from Asia. Let me leave. Goodbye, guys. The things you guys say. Deuces.